Next guest, you all know him as Captain Kirk on a series that we won't see anymore called Star Trek. However, he has no intention of resting on his laurels. He's hard at work with several projects. He's a former co-host of ours and a very popular young man and a fine actor, Mr. William Shatner. Bill! Golly, what a big sound.
Crossed this up, it came through this studio.
I know, you expected me to come down, didn't you?
Yeah, I expected to, you know.
No, show's been canceled. Actually, it's going to be seen in the summertime, 7:30 to 8:30 on Tuesdays.
On NBC?
On NBC during the summer, so it's not finally out there. But isn't that a big sound, that band?
It's great.
I heard you say that you'd been bred to that sound, the bands.
Yeah,
no?
when I was a kid.
So was I.
Were you?
Yeah, but they were all on my teeth.
Well,
bands, yes.
Oh, I get it, Bill.
Okay. It's all right.
You want to go out?
No, I'll tell you what you're going to do.
You want to go out and come in again this way?
Just replay one of my old shows.
I've often wondered how it feels. I hope it never happens to me, but how do you feel when you get the word that your show has been canceled?
Canceled? Well, I was very disappointed. I got, actually, it was done in a very classy way. NBC did it in a very classy way with me. I got a long-distance call from London, England. One of the gentlemen of NBC whose job it is to make those announcements, called me long distance from London. Well, you know, getting a call from London in itself is so good. You know, it's kind of, you know, there's a call from London for you, Mr. Shatner. You know, hello, yes, your show has been canceled.
Just like that.
Not like that, but it was disappointing.
Why was Star Trek canceled?
Well, I guess basically because not enough people were watching it. I imagine it was a matter of logistics. NBC is not foolish. If it were greatly commercial, it would still be on the air.
But can they really, Mike? Can they really tell how many people are watching?
I don't know. I've often said the only people who really complain about ratings are the people who don't have them. And
well, sure.
We've never had.
How many times have you heard the?
I've been with a lot of shows before I had this one that were like, oh boy.
How many times have you heard the expression? You know, you can't, don't. Ratings is ridiculous. Don't listen to the ratings. The ratings are not.
Must mean.
But when you're in the top 10, listen. The ratings are everything. You know,
Yes,
you've got to really listen to the ratings.
I used to hear shows were canceled through the stagehands. No, seriously. They are the first one. Am I right? They're the first people to know. I came in one morning. I was doing a show in Chicago called Club 60. I wasn't the host of the show, but I was a singer on the show. Dennis James was hosting it, and I walked in and we had to come in very early in the morning. I passed the stagehand. He said, "It's all over, April 5th." And I said, what's all over? He said, "This show." I said, and it was like, this is like October when I heard this. I said, all over, April, this show canceled? Because you knew when you heard it from them. They knew. They got the word first.
Dismantling the scenery. That was the final word. They said, "Do you think there's any possibility of Star Trek being renewed?" I asked the stagehand. He said, "We're dismantling the scenery."
Are you at all bitter about it being canceled?
Oh, no. 3 years on a. I was very proud of Star Trek. I'm very happy with it. You know, much of it was very good entertainment, and I was very happy with it. I've gone back to...
You got a problem there?
No, that was just an Italian burp, actually. All that passed. There was a crack, and I guess they didn't boil the thing. I'm sorry, that's silly ethnic joke.
I was going to say something. I was going to say that I enjoyed the show. I will one day repeat the show because, as you said, in the summertime, and you were fantastic. Really. I know that you did a Broadway show. You were on Broadway?
A number of Broadway shows, and yes. I did...
Did you hear the cancellation from the...
From the stagehand, sure. They dropped a sandbag on my head there. You know. You've been canceled. But before the Broadway stuff, I was doing live television. I came down here just at the tail end of what was supposed to be the golden age of live television.
Now, things happened in those days that can never be erased. I remember seeing, I told you, at Dick Powell Theater one night, I saw a corpse get up and walk away on the air.
Oh, yeah.
I really did. The guy died and was shot, killed. They said, "You killed him." And the next thing I know, the camera was still in a wide shot, and the guy got up and walked away. Live.
Yeah, if you think about it.
That happens in opera. Often.
In opera?
Yes, in opera, in Tosca especially, when they shoot Cavaradossi, you know. It's very seldom the Cavaradossi stand still till the end of the show, you know. So you see quite a few moving around, breathing.
Oh,
Never
sure.
go. Taking the soul.
A tenor heave.
Or better position in case the throat, that's what they worry about.
Yeah.
Bill, can I ask you a rather pointed question?
If it has a barb to it.
No, I feel that we know each other well enough. Did you take your role in Star Trek for dramatic or security reasons?
That's a very interesting question. When did you throw that at me? When?
Just now.
Why haven't I heard that question before? Well, I tell you, I had made 2 pilots up to then. Pilots being segments of a show that could sell. Network would look at it and say, no, we don't want to buy it, or yes, we do want to buy it. Now, I was offered this 3rd pilot of Star Trek, and I had to make a choice as to whether to take it or not. And I thought, gee, that's so different, and it looks exciting, and it might possibly be successful, both in terms of security and in popularity. And I thought, well, I'll take a chance and do it, because I felt if I didn't, if I wasn't successful the 3rd time out in the pilot, it would be wouldn't be good. So it was like a gamble. I threw the dice, and there I was.
It's done a great deal for you career-wise, though, hasn't it, Bill?
Sure, yes, of course. I was trying to talk to you about this live television thing, because I've gone back to live television. In this last month, I've done 2 television specials, one of which was on, and one of which will be on in another couple of weeks of the date we're doing this show. Probably will have been on when some of the people see the show. It's a light comedy, and it's with Elizabeth Ashley. And I was reminded during these 2 sojourns back into live television of the golden age of television, which was somewhat tarnished, really, when we really think about it, about the people getting up out of their off the. But I mean, a couple of things happened to me that I thought of that might be amusing for your audience to hear. And one was, for example, I had a gun. I had to have a gun, and I was supposed to shoot somebody, and it was a very important prop. And the show was going on, and 40 million people are watching the show, and I reach for the gun. There's no gun. Look around. There's no gun. And I look off screen, and I see the guy with the props, and I run off screen. So I leave the camera, run off. And I say, give me a gun. He said, I haven't got one. And there's a policeman over there. He says, I got a gun. And he hands me a gun. And I got the gun. And he said, be careful, it's loaded.
And you're on the line.
I got to go and fire the gun at this guy with a 45, with the bullets coming at.
Maybe a magnum. The whole studio collapses.
And there was another time. It's really a classic story. I could say it happened to me, but it really didn't happen. It happened to another actor. But in live television, you have rehearsal after rehearsal after rehearsal, especially when you get into the studio.
Especially if you're doing comedy, I hate that.
Well, this was a dramatic show, and this actor had, like, on the day that they were shooting the show, they had a number, like 5 or 6 complete run-throughs of this sequence. Now, the sequence that they were shooting was that of a fight. And they had to break the furniture, see? Now, to break furniture, you don't actually take one of these chairs and break it, because you could hurt somebody. They have breakaway furniture. It's kind of sawed through, or it's made of balsa wood. So when you hit it,
Hopefully it's sawed through.
it explodes, right?
Yeah.
Or you hit somebody over the head with a bottle. It's usually glass. So this guy's going through the dress rehearsals. Now, they only make 1 of these things. I mean, how many bottles can you have? So he was asked to just mime it. So he'd go through the rehearsals, see, saying, now I take this chair, and I break it over this guy's head, and then I walk, and I take the bottle, and I slam the bottle. Then I'm going to leap through the window. So now 5, 6 rehearsals. The guy's saying, now I break the chair, and now I bang the bottle, and then finally they're on, and we're on the air, and presenting Kraft, and he's going through, and he's saying, right, and now he's on the air. And now I break the chair, and then I break the bottle, and then I break the thing, and the stage manager's saying, you're running up, and he's trying to get his attention, you're on the air, and he's running, now I break, and I leap through the window. I say, man, you stupid son of a gun, you're on the air. The guy looked at him, he couldn't believe it. And finally decided he wouldn't believe it. And then I break the chair, and is that a wild story?
Oh, that's marvelous. Nothing like that has ever happened to you.
Then I break the chair.
You know what kills me about opera? In opera, somebody is either dying, or, let's see, is it La Boheme where she's dying?
She's dying, yes.
And she sings for 4 hours. The longest death I've ever been in. And sings, beautifully, like she's dying. She's lying there, and you think, that's it. And she goes, and it goes out forever, and then she lies down again, and she's singing, he's singing, Mimi, what has happened to you, Mimi? And she goes, my name isn't Mimi, my name's not Mimi. It's Carmen. She comes up from death and sings again.
You know what happened to Ginny? Usually the bed is right in the center of the stage, and Mimi sings the goodbye, and then he walks away, and he looks at everybody, and everybody are silent, and then he said, what happened? No, it isn't true, you know, singing, of course, in Italian. And he ran to the bed, and he fell on the bed because he realizes that Mimi is dead, and the bed collapsed. That was the end of the show.
Not too
Couldn't have saved.
It's not your average posturepedic.
I know how interested you are, Bill, in Shakespeare, and we'd like you to do. I know you'd like to do it full time, wouldn't you? Be a Shakespearean actor full time.
Oh, well, no, I'm an actor, and
That's your love, though. I mean,
well, I was brought up in the Shakespearean theater, and then I branched out and then went into live television with the breaking of the furniture. See? No, I, as many actors are, equipped to do anything that's written. But I did many years of Shakespeare with the Shakespeare Stratford Company in Ontario. You know, apropos of that, last year when we had those unfortunate killings, I was asked to be on a show the day after. I had been asked to be on a conversation show, and that night Martin Luther King was killed. I was then the following morning on the show, and I had nothing to offer. Of course, the format of the show was changed, and I had nothing to offer them as a performer, except I recalled one thing in Julius Caesar that forecast the beginning of civil war, and Anthony said to everybody, as of course Shakespeare, saying, "This is what could happen if you allow the hate and the enmity to get the better of us." And I offered that as my only contribution that morning. And in a way, I'd like to say again
will you do
the
it
same
for us?
thing.
William Shatner.
Anthony is standing over the dead body of Julius Caesar, his friend, his mentor, angered and yet fearful of his own life. Oh, pardon me, thou bleeding piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Thou art the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tide of times. Woe to the hand that shed this costly blood. Over thy wounds, now do I prophesy, which like dumb mouths do ope their ruby lips to beg the voice and utterance of my lips. A curse shall light upon the limbs of man. Domestic fury and fierce civil strife shall cumber all the parts of Italy. Blood and destruction shall be so in use, and dreadful objects so familiar, that mothers shall but smile when they behold their infants quartered with the hands of war, all pity choked with custom of fell deed, and Caesar's spirit, ranging for revenge with Ate by his side come hot from hell, shall in these confines with a monarch's voice cry, "Havoc! And let slip the dogs of war, that this foul deed shall smell above the earth with carrion men, groaning for burial."
William Shatner.